Hey, it's Saturday and I just left the little thrift store. They don't have a lot in there right now because they're swapping out. They're going from like spring and summer stuff into fall and winter stuff. So they have all of their summer stuff half price, but apparently it's pretty picked over. I haven't been here in several weeks. I just either haven't been here or haven't felt like going. So I don't know when they put it all on half price, but it must have been a while ago because there's hardly anything left. It's very, very picked over. I didn't get really anything, but I did find this cool big old activity book. My first activity book, a life-size guide to fun things to make. And I thought it would be fun to do a little video going through and like showing you some of the activities and kind of what I would do. I had this teacher in kindergarten. We had two teachers. I think one of them might have been the assistant or something, but it was Miss Sue and Miss Pat were my teachers in kindergarten, and that was one of my first real world introductions to ASMR because they both had the most gentle way about them. And I can remember being like 5 years old and being in kindergarten and sitting at my little desk and having them come over and show me things, like, you know, trying to show me how to do something. And it was just the best. Oh my God. It was the way they talked, the way they would point to things and talk, and, you know, they're like right next to you and they're sort of not really whispering, but they're not talking really loud. So good. So I'm going to try to copy that when I show you, because this thing shows you step by step how to make stuff. Look at this. Look at. So what I can do, there's a lot you could do here. You could do a lot of pointing, you could do tracing, and then you go through and you read the steps for making the different crafts and things. I think this could be a great video. So I got this for 50 cents. It's a big ass book. Look at this big old book. It's huge. 50 cents. But that's all I bought. I didn't really see anything else I wanted. So the clothes were very picked over. I wish I had known they were putting everything half price. Of course, I don't need any clothes. My kids don't need any clothes. Like, it's probably better that I didn't know. It's probably for the best that I did not know. So I didn't even think about it being that time of year when they start, you know, pricing stuff to get rid of it. But they're starting to clear it all out. A lot of the racks are pretty bare. But that's cool. That means they're going to start putting out fall and winter stuff really soon, in the next couple of weeks probably. So the nice lady at the little checkout, the little desk up there, said, yeah, we're going to be putting out a bunch of new stuff soon. So, you know, check back with us in a week or two. Like, yes, ma'am, I will. So, yay! And right across the street, you can't see it, but there's Black Powder Barbecue Restaurant. Black Powder Smokehouse. Oh, everybody's eating outside. Y'all lucky, man. Some good food over there. Golly. If you're ever in the Jamestown area and you like barbecue, you've got to come check out Black Powder Smokehouse. Woo! It's good. Their brisket is good. They even have good meatloaf. On Wednesdays they have meatloaf, and it's unlike any meatloaf you probably ever had. It is damn good. I mean, I like meatloaf, but theirs is, they take meatloaf to a whole new level back there. Lord have mercy. I like just to get a chopped plate, you know, get some chopped barbecue with some macaroni and cheese. And their macaroni and cheese is really good. Their barbecue slaw is good. It's all good. It's all good. I even like their white slaw, and I normally don't like that stuff very much. So now I'm headed. Where am I going? Where am I going? I think I'm going to go to Goodwill before I go home. I wanted to tell you about dumpster diving. What? No, I don't dumpster dive anymore. I heard this story one time. This was awful, and it actually happened to this lady. I don't remember where it was. There was this woman. Horrible way to die. Horrible way to die. It may not be going where you think it's going. Okay, so this woman, she was wealthy. Okay, she had money. But for some reason, she liked to go dumpster diving. Well, what happened was she was at a dumpster behind, I don't know, a grocery store or a Target or Walmart or something, like one of those big dumpsters, you know. She was back there, and she wasn't supposed to be, but she took a ladder. She had this nice, like a Mercedes SUV, and I think there's like video of this like security camera footage of the whole ordeal. So it was the middle of the night, and she goes back there and she pulls this ladder. It was like one of those free, the A-shaped ladder thingies, out of the back of her car, sets it up, climbs up to open the thing. It's got the dumpster has a big lid on the top that closes, and it's very heavy. Those lids are extremely heavy. It's solid metal, and it's made to be heavy, so it won't blow open, or you can't easily get into it. So she sets up her little ladder, climbs up there, opens it up, and somehow, I don't know what happened. I heard about this years ago, and I swear it's not an urban legend. I believe this really happened. I swear I read it somewhere, but it might be one of those Mandela effect things where it didn't actually happen, and I just thought it did, but I know damn well it did, even though they'd say now it didn't. Okay, so she gets the ladder, she sets it up right up next to the thing where she can open the lid, and she climbs up the ladder, and she pushes it open, and somehow, I don't know if she stumbled, I don't know what happened, but she ended up kicking the ladder, and the ladder went out from under her. The ladder fell, and when the ladder fell, I don't know if she tried to grab onto something, but she dropped, because like she was dangling, and it broke both of her arms, and that lid slammed down on her arms. So she's dangling there, feet flinging in the air, 2 broken arms, and that heavy ass lid on her arms. She could not get down. She couldn't do anything. And it was the middle of the night. There was nobody back there. And she dangled there all night. And I think she ended up dying, because it's like a crucifixion. The thing about crucifixion that kills you is the fluid. Something about fluid builds up in your lungs, and you basically drown if you stay in that position long enough. The fluid collects in your lungs, and it basically just drowns you. You can't get oxygen. You can't. The fluid in your lungs will kill you because you can't get oxygen. I think that's what happened. Now, I don't want to swear to it, and I'm driving, so I can't exactly look it up, and this just occurred to me. I didn't start this conversation to tell you about her, but what a stupid way to die. I mean, I hate it for her. God bless her family and her life, and her, going to heaven or whatever, and, peace be with thee, or whatever the hell. But what a stupid way to die. I mean, God damn. What were you even looking for? The best you could hope for would be like a busted beach ball and a moldy, loaf of bread. I mean, what were you hoping to find in the dumpster? So, she obviously planned it out in advance, and I think she had been busted going in that dumpster in the past. And so, but yeah, she planned it in advance. She had her ladder with her, went out there in the middle of the night where nobody would see her. I bet she regretted the hell out of that. As she passed away, again, God, Lord bless her, blah, 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 but how stupid. So, this is not what I did, okay, when I was a kid. Now, if you've never lived way out in the country, you may not be familiar with this. Now, people who have lived their whole life in a city they often don't understand that people who live way out in the country live a very different life from you. Life is very different out there. Everything is different, and it's not that we're all standing around in overalls with a hayseed sticking out of our mouth tending the cows. That's not what I'm talking about. I never did that. I never even owned any overalls, and we didn't have cows, and I never had a hayseed sticking out of my mouth. But I lived out in the middle of, the woods. We lived way out in the woods. We didn't even have any neighbors until I was 13 years old. We were the only house on the entire road. We lived on this long dirt road. It's about 2 miles long. Well, no, maybe 1.5 miles. We were the only house on the whole road. And we owned about 7 acres on that road that my grandfather bought back in the 40s, when land out there was super duper cheap. You could buy land for almost nothing. And he bought a bunch of land out there in that area. And then when my mom and dad got married, well, they lived elsewhere for a while, because my dad was, he was in the military for a bit, and then he went to school up in Pittsburgh. They lived in Pittsburgh for several years. They lived in California for several years. When they came back to North Carolina, my mom and dad bought 7 acres because my grandfather had like 30 acres. And he wasn't a rich man, but back in the 40s, you could buy land out there for almost nothing. And it's a good investment. So anyway, they bought 7 acres. And we had a single wide trailer out there on that property. Now, when you live out in the middle of nowhere like that, there is no trash service, and that's one of 1,000 things that are different when you live out in the country. And sometimes city people don't really understand, you know, in my experience, and I'm not trying to talk shit about anybody. In my experience, people who live out in the country seem to understand, you know, this is how we do it here, but other people don't do it this way. That doesn't make them stupid. That doesn't make them ignorant. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It's just that where they live, they do things differently than we do here. People who live out in the country seem to understand that better. And I don't like the term country people because it has sort of like a negative connotation. It's like when I lived up in Illinois, people said I had a country accent. And a lot of them assumed when they first heard me speak, they assumed that I was not very smart. And a couple of them admitted it to me later. I had some coworkers who admitted, you know, when you first started working here, I overheard you talking and I heard that country accent. And I'll be honest, I didn't think you were very smart. And I'm sorry I thought that, but I just assumed you were just not very smart because the way you talk. You know, people who live in a more rural area seem to understand everybody doesn't do it the same. Everything isn't the same for everybody everywhere. City people, not all of them, not all, but it seems like a lot of city people don't get that. They just assume, well, if you don't do it the way we do it, then, you know, the hell's wrong with you, you bumpkin, you know. Well, it's different out there. Trash collection. When you live in the middle of nowhere, there is no trash collection. There's not. There's no trash truck coming to get your trash. There are no cans to put your trash in unless you buy some. And even if you do, you could put it out by the road and wait all day long. Ain't nobody coming to get your trash. You don't take the trash out. You take the trash off. That's how you say it. I'm going to take the trash off Saturday morning. Saturday morning was when we always took our trash off. And you take your trash off. Pretty much everybody has a truck, a pickup truck of some sort. My dad had a white Ranchero truck for years, and it was really old, and he drove that thing forever. It was beat up and old, and I was embarrassed because it was noisy, and kids made fun of me and said my dad drove that old, you know, he said it was like something the Clampetts would drive on the Beverly Hillbillies. It was actually cool as hell, but it was very beat up. But the kids made fun of me for the stuff. My parents didn't have nice cars, and I went to this church school for 7 years, and the kids who went to school there were a little bit sedity and thought their shit didn't stink. Like, you're not all that. But my parents didn't have nice things. I didn't have nice clothes. We lived in a little trailer, and I got made fun of a lot for that. And it really messed with me because I really started to believe that they were better than me and I didn't deserve to be there. And my experiences with Christianity over the years were not great. That was one of a series of things that just left a bad taste in my mouth for church, you know, like, and the teachers were fully aware of it and were fine with it. They said if I had a problem with it, it was my fault and I needed to just get over it. I don't think they were terribly fond of me either. It's a whole thing. I don't want to get into that. I'm not trying to start anything, but I didn't really like the way I felt going to that school, and I was made to feel like trailer trash. That's what I was literally referred to as, just trailer trash. I'm sure Jesus would have been really proud of that. Good job. Anyway, so we took our trash off on Saturdays, and my dad, you know, we would load it up in the back of the truck. You keep it. We had, you know, cans that you could keep it in to keep the animals out of it. Cans with lids on them, you know, and put it all in the truck. And then you had to drive it to the dump. Now the dump was about 5 miles away. So we have to, you know, put it all in the back. Make sure you put it back there where it won't blow out. Nothing's going to blow out or fall out. And in warmer weather, I'd ride back there and kind of hold the bags down if there was anything that might blow out. I had to hold it down on the way to the dump. I loved riding in the back of the truck. I didn't care. Back then, kids did that all the time. It was totally normal. It's against the law now, but shit, we used to ride in the back of the truck all the time. Everybody did. It was just a thing that you did. You ride in the back of the truck. It was fun. And in warm weather, it was fun. So we'd go take the trash off. Now, back then, back when I was a kid, back in the 70s and 80s, the dump that we had to go to was just this big open, you know, like the big dumpsters that they have on a flatbed truck or whatever, and they deliver it, you know, and it's just this gigantic, huge dumpster. Nobody recycled back then. Recycling was not a thing anybody gave a shit about. There was no such thing as recycling. Everything just went in the dumpster. So we get there about lunchtime, you know. Now, before we started throwing the trash in there, we would walk over to the dumpster, and it was open, you know. It's just big and open. I've been by there since then, and it's not like that anymore. It looks totally different. There's still a dump there, but it's all closed. You just have a little opening, little doors that slide open that you put your trash in, and then they have a separate one for recycling, and it has a list of what you can put in there, all that stuff. So it's very different now. But back when I was a kid, it was just this big open dumpster. Now, we would get there, and my dad and I would walk up, and he'd stand there with his hands on his hips. He's just looking in the dumpster. He's like this. Mary, you see that red thing over there? Get in there, turn that over. Look, hold that up for me. Get up. You can climb in down there. Don't step on that glass. Now look out. And watch where you put your feet. I don't want you falling down in there. I ain't got time for a broken leg. Just go get that red thing. Hold it up. What is that? Turn it this way. Bring it over here. Let me see that. What is that? Huh. I mean, oh, it's broken. Just throw it back. Throw it back. Hey, go over there. Lift that plywood up. Careful. It's not a snake. It's a cord. Just lift it up. And he'd have me dumpster diving, and I was like his little fetcher, you know. Like, go over and get that for me. Hold it up. Oh, hold it up. It's not that heavy. Hold it up. Turn it this way. Bring it over here. Let me see that. That's a good looking tire. Give it here. Throw it in the truck. He's shopping in the dumpster, and he sends me out like his little monkey. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was great. There wasn't anybody there. I mean, now they have this little tiny house at the dump, and there's always a man in there, and he watches what you do. And I don't want to tell tales out of school, but I'm going to tell you something. All the men that work in that little house at the dump, they're all creepy as hell. And if you're a reasonably attractive woman, they're going to hit on you. They're going to come out of that little house, and they're going to fix their hair. You know, these are like men in their 60s. They're going to fix their hair up, you know. And they talk to you like Carl. I mean, they're all Carls. Every damn one of them's a Carl. If you can imagine Carl working at the dump, that's every damn one of them will do it. I get a lot of Carl shit from these men thinking about them. And of course, there's the one guy that actually had the experience with it, the big box store, when I was looking for a refrigerator. But they're all Carls, every damn one of them. And you just get this squeaky feeling like, can I just please drop the trash off? Because sometimes I would take my mom's trash off for her, you know. And I hated it because there'd always be one of them up there, and they got to come out and, hey, pretty lady, it's a nice day. I hate to see you out here, don't you? Couldn't your husband take the trash off? Why is he making you do it? You know, oh my God, just stop. Let me just drop the trash off and go. Thank you. So, yes, but it was so much fun. And there was nobody there to stop you. So you could dumpster dive all day. My dad would have me doing deep dives in that dumpster because I'd turn stuff over. Oh, what is that, a chair? Is that Mary, right there, under your left foot. Pick your other left foot. Is that a chair? What kind of chair is that? Well, look at it. Get the stuff off of it. Who'd throw away a good chair like that? You reckon you could get that? I could use, that's a good chair. You pull that on out of there. I'll find somebody who want it. If I don't, pull it out. Oh, that's a good looking chair. What do you mean you can't pick it up? Yes, you can. Use your legs. Come on, come on. I ain't getting in there. I'd never get out. Just, you get it over here. Every Saturday. And I think it kind of fueled my love for thrift stores, because you never know what you're going to find. And sometimes you'll find good stuff in there. I remember one time I found a painting, like a big painting in a beautiful frame. I don't know who threw that. Like, why would you throw that away? It was beautiful. It was a painting of a vase with irises in it. It was gorgeous. I took it home. I gave it to my mom. It was one of the times I went to take her trash off. Oh, last time I went to her house, she still had it up on the wall. We got it home. We cleaned it up. You know, it was fine. There wasn't a thing wrong with it. Beautiful wooden frame. It was gorgeous. I don't know why somebody would throw that in the trash. Beautiful. You'll never know what you're going to find. Oh, shit. We found tires. We found chairs. We found, like, big fluorescent light bulbs. God, clothes. Big bags of clothes. I mean, just whatever. We just, you know, my dad would have me bring it home. Like, well, I know we don't need it, but somebody might need it. Get it out of there. We'll take it home. We're going to clean it up. We'll fix it up. Bicycles, skateboards. You know, it could be anything. Brooms that were perfectly fine, and mops. I mean, it could be anything. My dad just, get it on out of there. We're going to take it home. I actually kind of always look forward to going to the dump, because I knew if it wasn't raining, now if it was raining, he didn't really bother with it. We just pitch our trash and go. But if it wasn't raining, I mean, we'd stay there for a while. We'd just shop in the dumpster. Yeah, you can't do it anymore. They won't let you do it. I always get a little twinge of nostalgia, I guess, when I would take my mom's trash off. You're like, oh, I remember coming here, digging through the trash. Man, those were good times. So a lot of things about growing up out in the country are very different. Overall, would I want to grow up in the city or the country? Country. Absolutely. Absolutely. I had a little Honda motorcycle when I was 10 years old, and most of the land on that road was owned by a lumber company. And when I was 10, they cleared a bunch of it around, not too far from the house. And they had these logging roads, you know, and it was really cool because they had horses bringing the logs out. And I would love to go up there and sit and watch the horses work and everything. It was just really cool. And after they were all done, I would I had a little Honda 50, and I would ride it all day long on those logging roads all by myself. I'd ride that thing all over the place. And, yes, I think growing up out there's better. I could go fishing. I'd go out and play in the woods, play in the creek, you know, all day long. I'd go so far out in the woods I couldn't hear my mama anymore. And like if she was calling me, and there was just something so cool about being totally on my own like that. Like I'm completely away from the house. And even if she called me right now, I couldn't hear her. I'm so far out in the woods, and I could find my way back. You know, they do say children who grow up playing out in the woods like that have a better sense of direction. I think I've kind of lost it though, living in the city, but I used to have a really, really great sense of direction. I could tell you north, south, east, west, it's like you feel it, like you just know which way is north or south. You could just feel it. I think it's totally better. I do. And the good thing too, it was perfect because I got to grow up that way. But then I always knew I was going to leave. I've known ever since I was a little kid that I was not going to stay there. I was going to grow up there, but I was going to leave, and I was going to go. I didn't know where I was going. I wasn't really worried about it, but I always knew I was not meant to stay there my whole life. I was meant to go somewhere else. And I think I was meant to come here. I don't know why. And I've never been one of those everything happens for a reason people, but it's just something that I've just always kind of known in my soul somehow. Like, I'm not meant to stay in the country. Like in a country, like here where I grew up, I'm meant to go somewhere else. And I did. And I ended up here. And as soon as I moved to Greensboro in January of '96, I said, this is it. I'm supposed to be here. Right, I never felt as comfortable where I grew up as I do in Greensboro, and to this day I don't know why that is. I have no idea. But overall, I think I had it pretty good because I got to grow up out there in the middle of nowhere and experience all that. And it was great. I remember building a playhouse out there. I had my own machete. I had to go cut a Christmas tree every year out in the woods because my dad said, we ain't spending good money on no tree. You go out there and cut one down. And we had wood burning stove, and we had to cut wood every winter, usually on over into fall. We cut wood, and we usually have to do it again through the winter. to get some more green wood going. We had a wood shed. Yeah, I learned how to work. We had a huge garden. I mean, like a big garden every year. I learned how to work. I learned how to work hard to, you know, to help out the family and do what needed to be done. I learned a lot of great things living out there that maybe if you live in, you know, in the city, you might not ever even experience something like that. And I grew up doing it every day. So I think it was great. And then to go on to live here, I think it's damn near perfect, at least for me. I mean, everybody likes different things, but for me, I think this has been damn near perfect. So I'm happy. And I really enjoyed dumpster diving with my dad, because I could just hear him behind me like, Mary, Nick, go over there. Go over there. Wait. What's that? Pick it up. Get the glass off of it and pick it. Oh, it's just insulation. Put it down. Oh, you ain't that itchy. Come on. Just wipe it off with your shirt sleeve. It's fine. Get that over there. He's just telling me to pick stuff. It was awesome. My mom didn't like him doing that, but she just kind of rolled her eyes. Like, I don't want her getting hurt. I don't feel like dealing with that. Just don't let her get hurt, okay? Because she knew we were going to do it anyway. And hell, I didn't care. I thought it was fun. So, yeah, dumpster diving was the best, man. But don't do it in the middle of the night with a ladder where you know, end up like that one lady. Don't do it like that. She was doing it wrong. No. I wouldn't recommend doing it by yourself, because if you got hurt, I mean, what would you do, right? So I'm gonna get on in here to Goodwill. Yeah, happy Saturday. I hope you're having a good day so far. The weather is great. I did get out and mow the backyard yesterday. I'm gonna do the front later today. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot I have to do today. But thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon.